the replacement also had a headache, so he also left. So I end up doing the announcement to, inshallah, go on with the program. Our program, inshallah, will be, as I mentioned, recitation of dua, Khatm Quran. And after that, it will be a few words by our brother Anwar Abbas from Fatima Islamic Society. He will have a few words to say about brother Marhoom Syed Shah. And then after that, inshallah, we finish with a speech and with dinner, inshallah. Because today is the first of the Hijjah, in the announcement we mentioned we will honor Imam Muhammad al-Taqi, Imam Jawad alayhi salam, but because today is the day of the anniversary of the marriage of Imam Ali and Hazrat Fatima, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa Muhammad. We, inshallah, for the respect of them, we will just suffice with the speech and, inshallah, end of the program. To honor Imam, our ninth Imam, let's recite aloud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So, inshallah, we go and recite the last few chapters of the Quran. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفره إنه كان توابا بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم تبت يدا أبي لهب وتب ما أغنى عنه ماله وما كسب سيصلى نارا ذات لهب وامرأته حمالة الحطب في جيدها حبل من مسد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. صدق الله العلي العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الأمين الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد ثم الحمد لله رب العالمين. اللهم نور قلوبنا بتلاوة القرآن وزين أخلاقنا بزينة القرآن واشف مرضانا وأمراضنا بنور القرآن واغفر وارحم موتانا بالقرآن وسلم مسافرينا بالقرآن. اللهم انصر الإسلام والمسلمين بالقرآن واخذل الكفار والمنافقين بالقرآن. اللهم عجل في فرج مولانا صاحب العصر والزمان بالقرآن. اللهم اجعل القرآن في الدنيا قرينا وفي القبر مونسا وأنيسا وفي القيامة شافعا وشفيعا. اللهم اغفر لنا ولوالدينا ولوالدي والدينا ولمن له حق علينا ولجميع المؤمنين والمؤمنات سيما مرحوم المغفور المنذور Syed Kashif Ali Shah al-Naqawi and the Marhoomin of his family. رحم الله لمن قرأ الفاتحة مع الإخلاص والصلوات. Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless his soul, elevate his status, and make it to be, inshallah, the companion of awliya Allah, especially his ancestors, Rasulullah, and his immaculate progeny, inshallah. If I ask you, especially the youngsters, my dear brothers, if you can come here, there's a lot of space, so come all the way here. I would appreciate, thank you. It will be more comfortable for you as well. For the health and well-being of all of the mu'mineen and mu'minat, especially those who participated in today's program, recite al-salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Without, inshallah, further ado, I'll invite my dear brother Anwar Abbas to come forward and, inshallah, give a few words about Marhoom Sayyid Ali Shah. Reciting the salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. First of all, I really in debt with Maulana Sahib that at least he gave us the opportunity to come to the podium and address you all. And also, I'm extremely thankful for Maulana Sahib to accept our invitation to come and lead this event. This event basically has been sponsored or basically suggested by the existing board members and the trustees and the past board members and trustees of Fatima Islamic Society, as well as there are several other members of Fatima Islamic Societies who are in the audience, and some of them may not be able to attend for any reason. But the reason we all are here is because Sayyid Ali Shah really touched everyone that we are sitting here, especially the members of Masjid Rasool, especially also the members of Fatima Islamic Society. And he basically had a extremely wonderful personality. I physically met with him, dealt with him on many occasions. And he also was one of the board of directors of Fatima Islamic Society, and he worked with us very diligently. He had a jovial personality, and I tell you, he was a very, very helpful person. Anybody needed something, he was the first one to come forward and say, I will help you, I'll come and do it. I give you a small example because I know his qualities are enormous and what he's done and how he has touched other people. But one of my friend, Afzal, is sitting right here, and he come to find out 2 days before this tragedy that transpired, that Afzal lives very close by to him. So right away he asked Afzal to come and eat dinner with him. I mean, how many people do that? I mean, we all live very close by to each other, but this was the personality of Ali Shah that So it's amazing personality, and I also like to request each and every one of you to please recite Surah Fatiha for all the mu'mineen, especially Ali Shah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, maliki yawmiddin, iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in, اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. بر محمد آل محمد صلوات. I'll give you two small examples, and I know that I don't want to be in the middle of Maulana's speech. When he was the board of director, I cite you something that was very amazing to me, which was that whenever there used to be a program, it's either it's a majlis program or it's a celebration of Imam, he used to be the first one to invite everyone to have a dinner. And he was just sitting there or waiting there or getting the food, and he was eating, one of the last one to eat the food. And lastly, I can tell you that he also used to clean the place up with other board of directors until unless the place is clean. He was still in the Fatima Islamic Society cleaning this things up. So to me, that personality is extremely wonderful in my mind, and I work with him in the finding a new building for Fatima Islamic Society. And during the meeting, we used to get disheartened because we made an offer to a building, it didn't work out. But whenever he used to come with his personality, and I know most of you have seen it, he has very jovial. He'll laugh a lot, and he can, talk loudly. And then he used to, with his personality, he used to basically calm us down. He said, don't worry, there's a second day, tomorrow is coming, and I'm going to do this and this and this. And at least we used to feel very good about him, that, hey, at least there's somebody that we can put our shoulder to and ask for help and assistance. So to us, it was deepest sorrow that we felt when we heard this tragedy. Personally, I was not in California. I was out of town. And when I heard about it, I could not believe it. So I must have texted about half a dozen text messages I sent to different people, asking them to tell me, is this the same Ali Shah that we know? I couldn't believe it. And finally, when I found out, then I tell you, I was very emotional. So our deepest sympathies and condolences to the family of Ali Shah. And we ask Allah to give him and 14 Masumeen, to give him a better place in Jannah. Bar Muhammad Ali Muhammad Salawat.
On behalf of the family of Marhoom Sayyid Ali Shah, also Masjid Rasool, we would like to thank Fatima Islamic Society and the board members and community of FIS who participated, who held this majlis. We're honored to have you here, especially for the commemoration of the loss of this man. We inshallah pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant his family sabr and patience at this very difficult time, and to protect his family, his children, from all the fitna and all of the difficulties of this dunya. And I don't understand how they can deal with this tragedy, but inna Allah ma'as sabirin, indeed Allah is with those who are patient. So I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant them that sabr and patience to be able to endure these difficult days and moments. But once again, I would like to remind them that as a community, we are ready to help them in any way we can. It's not as a sense of, mercy or feeling bad. Is a responsibility as a community to be there for them, to be there for each other at the time of difficulty and tragedy. So, inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our du'as, our Quran recitation, and this program from all of us, and make it a gift and, inshallah, a reason of mercy for the soul of Marhoom Sayyid Ali Shah. Inshallah, we will finish with the speech, and after the speech, inshallah, dinner will be served. As I mentioned, the program tonight is sponsored by Fatima Islamic Society. So as I inshallah will go to the minbar, our brother will inshallah recite a few pieces of poetry with the salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
नारे सलवात अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला मुहम्मद व आले मुहम्मद। जो लोग मोहब्बत अहले बैत में मर जाते हैं, ये सैयद अली शाह साहब के लिए है ख़ास तौर से। जो लोग मोहब्बत अहले बैत में मर जाते हैं, बस यूं समझिए कि वो परदेश से घर जाते हैं। सलवात।
They requested to also pray for another brother who passed away recently, and August 6th will be his 40th. He passed away in Bay Area in San Francisco. He was a friend of one of our brothers. His name was Ahmad, son of Faqir Ahmad. They requested to recite Surah Fatiha for his soul, and they will inshallah pass some dates to send a thawab to his soul. Let's recite Surah Fatiha for soul of Marhoom Ahmad with the salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. May Allah bless the soul of all of our marhumeen, especially those that we lost recently in the last few months. And may Allah inshallah grant them rahmat, maghfirat and forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let's recite another salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيت الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المكرمين سيما بقية الله في السماوات والأراضين روحي وأرواحنا وأرواح العالمين له الفداء. قال الله تبارك وتعالى في القرآن الكريم وقوله الحق وهو أصدق الصادقين أحسب الناس أن يتركوا أن يقولوا آمنا وهم لا يفتنون ولقد فتنا الذين من قبلهم. In Surah Ankabut, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks a question and then Allah answers the question. In verse 2 and 3 of Surah Ankabut, Allah says, what people thought, what is their assumption? Ahasiban nas means this is the way they counted on God, that we will leave them without a test. Ayyutraku ayyaqulu amanna wa hum la yuftanun. Did they think that we will not test them after they say we believe in God and they will not be tested? وَلَقَدْ فَتَنَّا الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ. And indeed we tested, we put them in test, people and nations before you, in order for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to differentiate, to know who is the one that is truthful in their claim that they have iman, وَلَيَعْلَمَنَّ الْكَاذِبِينَ, and to recognize those who are liars, that they say they believe in God, but in reality, it was just a claim. This is a very important ayah because we say a lot of things as a human beings, we claim so many things, but ultimately when it comes to the moment of test, when it comes to the challenges that we have, that is the difference between people. For example, when we say Muslim, a lot of people, rightly, they claim to be Muslim. And in order to be Muslim, all you have to say is to say, I believe in one God, that is no partner, no associate for him. And I believe in the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. With these two sentences, somebody became Muslim. Somebody becomes Muslim to say these two statements. But in order to know which one actually lived a life of a Muslim or lived the life of somebody who just verbally claimed to be a Muslim, our performance makes that difference. You know, when we look at our life, as Quran says, that there are people who come to you. I mentioned this ayah, and it is an important ayah. This is not a hadith anymore, that people debate over that, oh, do we believe in this hadith or not? There's a statement clearly in Quran that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, O Messenger of God, people come to you and they tell you that they have faith. They are telling you that they are mu'min, they have iman. And Allah says to the Prophet, your response to these individuals has to be Don't say that you have iman. قُلْ لَمْ تُؤْمِنُوا وَلَكِنْ قُولُوا أَسْلَمْنَا وَلَمَّا يَدْخُلِ الْإِيمَانُ فِي قُلُوبِكُمْ. Prophet, tell them that you should not say you have iman, but you have to say we became Muslim. We are Muslim. Because iman did not enter your heart yet. وَلَمَّا يَدْخُلِ الْإِيمَانُ فِي قُلُوبِكُمْ. Qulub in this sense, we're talking about soul. Means that the faith did not touch your soul, did not impact your soul yet. It takes time. So always we start with Islam, but to get to iman, performance, amal salih, our good and righteous deed, is what makes us a mu'min or a Muslim. Islam makes marriage halal. Imam Jawad alayhi salam, we have a tradition by him. He said, Islam is what makes somebody permissible to marry to them. Halal is become halal to do nikah with them. So if somebody is not a Muslim, you cannot marry them. But if they say these two statements, that I've been in so many cases, that people come and said, oh, my spouse wants to become Muslim. They say the two statements, and that said, Islamically, I can perform the nikah then. But iman is what makes somebody suitable for Jannah. Iman is what makes somebody qualified to earn Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy. One is a lot about dunya, one is more about dunya and akhirah together. So tonight we commemorated once again the loss of a man who most of us, we knew him. And one quality that I repeatedly said in the last few weeks is, whenever somebody has a problem and he shared his problem with him, he would consider his problem, he will consider their problem his problem. If you say, I have an issue, I'm looking for a house, we're looking for a location, we're looking for a contractor, we're looking for a place, anything that he could have done, he would make it a priority to help you. And it was not about money. And a lot of people testify that it was not a guy who said, oh, I do it because of the commission, because in so many cases he said, I will not get any commission. This doesn't matter to me. As long as I'll be able to help the community, a mu'min, that's all that matters. So test is this. In the moment of challenges that we have, sometimes a test could be death. The Quran gives us a list of tests that we can face. وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِّنَ الْخَوْفِ. We will be tested with fear. Fear of what? Fear of poverty, fear of not being popular, fear of being alone, fear of being the odd and the awkward one. These are fears, right? Sometimes we are being tested because we're afraid if we don't do the wrong thing, we will not be accepted. If I don't do what everybody else does, I will be the odd one, I'll be the awkward one. So the fear of the social norm pushes us to do something that we know is wrong to do. Fear of not being, as I said, poor, fear of being poor. We don't give, our dues, our religious dues, because we're afraid if we give those religious dues, we will be poor. That's fear. People don't show up in the masjid sometimes. We're afraid if we go to the masjid, what if this happened? What if that happened? Fear. وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِّنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ, hunger. We have traditions that al-faqru ayyakada kufra. Sometimes poverty could pushes a man to lose their faith. Because as you're dealing with poverty and faqr, it's very difficult to maintain your iman. So Allah said, we will test you with hunger, wal-ju'. وَنَقْصٍ مِّنَ الْأَمْوَالِ. We take away some of your wealth. Naqs. So Allah said, we will test you. Some problem happened, some natural disaster happened, some bad business, economy, whatever is the cause, it make you lose money. وَنَقْصٍ مِّنَ الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَنفُسِ. The loss of yourself, your health, your life, or somebody else's health and life. وَالثَّمَرَاتِ, your children. You will be tested with one of these. It's about money, it's about health, it's about life, is about fear, is about the stomach. You will be tested with one of these essential needs. And then Allah said, وَبَشِّرَ الصَّابِرِينَ. The glad news, the happy news are for those who don't lose their control. They are patient at the time of difficulty. الَّذِينَ إِذَا أَصَابَتْهُمْ مُصِيبَةٌ. Those when they are recipient of the difficulty and affliction and the test, قَالُوا إِنَّا لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. They say we belong to Allah, we are from Allah, and we return to Him. As simple as that. But to live it is not simple. It's easy to say it. How many of us we did not say Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un? We say it often. But to live and believe in that we are from Allah and we belong to Allah, it means that if we lose money, we don't get upset. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un means if I have fame, if I have respect, and one day I don't have it, yu'izzu man yasha wa tudhillu man yasha. It's not in our control. When you can do that, and I inshallah go to a hadith and finish with that. So from Quran, this is from Surah Baqarah. From Surah Ankabut and Surah Baqarah, we understood that we will be tested with one of these categories. And we know that the success, the key, the golden answer is patience. Those who rush, those who want quick answers, those who are looking for quick result, they will not be able to pass the test of God. You have to take your time and calm down. That's the reason when somebody says something, if you're with someone who just answers right away, you don't think about what you say, you don't have sabr. You have to ask yourself twice, am I one of the sabirin or not? One of the patient one or not? Because if I just react, which we do a lot, we react to circumstances, to events, to problems, we don't even think, forget about patience, we don't even think about it. When you look at the life of Ahlul Bayt, we see that example that when there were questions, you see usually one of the best answers they had was no answer at all. No answer at all. In so many cases when they were disrespected, they were called names, they were insulted, the reaction was, I leave you with God. There's no way for me to answer you. And then when they were pushed to provide an answer, for example, in the case of our fifth Imam, Allahumma salli ala. He was called names. His name was used to insult him. Right? His name was one of the titles of our fifth Imam is Baqir. So they used the name to make fun of him. And instead of Baqir, which means the one who split open knowledge, the one who discovers new knowledge, people made fun of him with calling him Baqar, which means cow. Make fun of, butcher the name in order to insult him. Imagine what is the answer that Imam came up with. He said, the name you are referring to me is the name of an animal. It's a mammal who walks on the 4 feet, and instead of walking on 2 feet as human beings, just think about why you're calling me that. And when he was called the son of a wicked woman, or God forbid, son of adultery, Imam alayhi salam said, what you said is either true or a false statement, is a lie. If what you say is right, is you said the truth, may Allah forgive my mother for the sin that she committed. But I knew my mother, she was a mu'mina woman. She was away from any of these accusations. So if what you're saying is a lie, is a tuhma, is an accusation, is a great sin, and I pray for your forgiveness because you declare God with God. Because when you accuse somebody, when you are hurting somebody's reputation, it's like that you declare God war against God. So I ask Allah to forgive you and help you to understand what a great sin you committed. That's it. Not an argument, not a fight. No, why you called me this, how you dared said this to me. It's easy to say, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. But to live it is difficult. It's easy to say sabr is good, patience is good, but it's difficult to live a patient life. To be insulted, to be disrespected, and let it go. I finished with the hadith. It's from Wasa'il al-Shia, is one of the well-known book of hadith that narrated from our sixth Imam, Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wassalam. And the question was about who are the people that their du'as and their prayers will not be answered. Imam said there are people that regardless of how much they make dua, Allah will not grant their dua, they will not answer it because of their own actions. Not that Allah discriminate against them, it's because of what they've done, they will not get answered because they're responsible for the problem that they have. So who are they? Imam alayhi salam said the first one is a human being, is a man who's sitting at his house and they're asking for rizq, for provision, for sustenance, and they're not going to do anything about it. Their du'as will not be answered. Because Allah will say, I gave you the means to go and earn your rizq. I gave you the command that your responsibility is rizq al-halal. We call the talab or seeking halal sustenance. I told you as a command, right? The Messenger of Allah said, it said the ibadah, the act of worship, the servitude are 70 parts. And the greatest piece of this 70 is to seek halal rizq. That is the biggest and the most important one. So if somebody make a dua without seeking the halal rizq, because sometimes we don't understand that, I've mentioned this before, that if somebody works for you, what is the hadith of Imam al-Ridha alayhi salam regarding a worker? What is the hadith? That if somebody works for you as a labor worker, as an employee, what is the direction of the Ahlul Bayt? Pay them before their sweat goes dry. So it means right away, don't give them a check. Don't say, I'll pay you when I pay you. Anybody who provided a service, do it as soon as possible. This is the direction of Islam. Because that person is supposed to have the rizq, right? They have to have that provision. You can't say, go, Allah help you. This is what we do sometimes. Somebody knock at our door, we can help them, and said, go, inshallah, Allah will help you. But why you're not helping? If you can. If you can. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says our responsibility is to provide for those people who are providing a service for us. And even we have in tradition is mustahab, so it's an act of thawab, like mustahab namaz and the rest of the actions we do. One of the mustahabbat is that when you hire someone, make sure you deal with them how much you're going to pay them. And then after you agreed on a certain price, pay them a bit more. What we call it in the culture today? Tip. It's mustahab to tip them, to give them more than what they agreed upon. So let them leave with happiness that, okay, I was appreciated a bit more. Rather than you agreed upon a price and let's negotiate one more time, right? You told me 20, but let's do it for 15. You already done the job, right? This is the ignorance of our time, that we think because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the provider, it means that we have no role to be the mean and faculty of God. The same way we as parents, we know Allah is the creator. He is the Rabb. What does the Rabb means? The caregiver, the protector. But as parents, we know we have to protect our children. We say, Ya Allah, protect them, but you don't fail your responsibility. When you say Allah is Raziq and Razzaq, He's the provider, He's the sustainer, it doesn't mean I have to fail to do my part. That I could be the mean, the wasit of somebody's rizq. So don't push our community to a level that they stop from being active. Don't expect them to do free work. Don't expect them. The same way when you're asking a stranger to do a project, the last thing you expect them is to, do it for free. Because now somebody in the community, they do what you want. Don't expect them to do it for free. If they don't want to charge you, that's a different story. That's a different story. But to demand free job, that's not Islamic. So that is the first category. Imam Sadiq said their du'as will not be answered. A man who sit down at his house and pray for rizq and they don't go to acquire it. Or sometimes they go to acquire the rizq but people don't give their haqq. People don't give them what they deserve to be paid for. So remember that hadith of Imam Raza alayhi salam. Pay somebody's haqq. Pay somebody's agreed upon wage before their sweat goes dry. Means right away. The second one, the du'as will not be answered. Beauty of the hadith of Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam is that how prediction of the future is in this tradition. How irrelevant of the time we live, this is very practical. So the first one is practical because I've had issues, people come to me and they have financial problem. And when you ask the spouse why you're not providing for the family, say, Allah is the Raziq, my wife is greedy, my children are greedy. So what do you mean greedy? Literally for food, they have to call around and ask for food. As a husband, your responsibility is to provide for them from a halal source. You can't have excuse, oh, this job is, somehow belittling to me. This is not good for me. If you can't get a good job, fine, but if you can't, it's not their fault. They're not asking you for a luxurious car or for a luxurious vacation. They're asking for food, for shelter, and that's your responsibility. You can't blame them for that. The second group, that second category of people, their du'as will not be answered. Imam Sadiq said, the one that they lend money from their wealth. So somebody asks for a loan, they lend money to someone, but they don't have witnesses. They do it without a contract, without witness. And then that person who owes the money, they deny that they ever received a loan from you. And when this person, the lender, when they pray to Allah, Ya Allah, give me rizq, this person, I give him qarzul hasana, I give him a loan, and they're not giving it back to me, Allah said, I will not answer your du'as. Didn't I ask you to have witnesses in Quran? Didn't I ask you to write it down? Didn't I ask you to make sure to preserve your wealth? And I again repeat, please go and check verse 282 of Surah Baqarah. The longest verse in Quran is about business. That when you give a loan, when you're a lender, when you start a contract, an agreement, write it down. If you know how to write it down, somebody else ask them to write it down for you. The longest verse in Quran, one page complete, is about that. To ask two witnesses. If they're not male witnesses, female witnesses, make sure you have witness as well. That you have something and you have to give qarz. But sometimes when we give qarz, what happens? Somebody betrays our trust. And what happens when that occurs? When I give a small loan and that person, they don't return it, what happens? Would I give loan again? Would I? I doubt that. Once I did it, that's enough for the rest of my life. When you do with agreement with witnesses, that person is obliged to fulfill their duties, and then you'll be able to continue the good cycle of giving qarzul hasana to help people. From the recipient, if you are the one basically that you received the loan, is a haqq, is a right on you to return it. In Islam, is a defined responsibility for the one who gave the loan and for the one who receives the loan. As a person who gives the loan, the lender, your responsibility is to have a date, a deadline. You have to ask him when you will return it to me. And we should, as a person who received the loan, we should not get upset because Islam says so. Our religion says it, that you have to have a deadline. Don't say, I will give you when I have. How you're planning to return it? Once you're looking for charity, that's fine. You're looking for help, that they say without any return. That's fine. You're not asking for a return. But sometimes say, I'm at the difficult, and sometimes we need to give, charities without expecting a return. Somebody's sick. They have a permanent illness that they cannot work. How they can return your money? How? Somebody, God forbid, need money for burial. They passed away. How are they going to return your money? So you need to have kind of help that you don't expect any return. That's fine. But sometimes a man come to you, alhamdulillah, they're healthy, they have business, they work, or they're planning to work. So why they're looking for free money? So they're looking for a loan. The question is how you're planning to return the money. How much money you're going to receive. Okay, it takes me 2 years to return your money. That's fine. Let's agree upon that. Islamically, when you give a loan, ask for a deadline. Secondly, if that person, when the deadline comes, they had some issue. Life happens, right? For some reason, they're not able to give it on the deadline. Extend it. Islamically, is mustahab to extend it. Have a deadline, but when the deadline comes, say, I have some problem. I had somebody sick in my family. I have to postpone it. Give him time. Give him extension. That's from the position of lender. From the position of the recipient of the loan, Islam says, try to pay off your loan as soon as possible. The deadline is called deadline. But don't wait for the deadline. If you can't do it today, do it today. Because that is a haqqun nas. That is a dain. There's no difference between you taking money from somebody's pocket and steal it and receive a loan and you can give it back, but you don't. There's no difference. It's their money that you have. And one of them you have consent, one of them you don't. So if you can give it back earlier, do it earlier. If you have problem, don't demand forgiveness. This is again from recipient. You can't go say, please forgive your loan. You can't say please. But you can say, no, you should forgive me. You have so much money. Why you care about $500? You have a couple of houses. You have a car that the loan, I don't know, the payment of your car is twice as much as the loan. It's not your business. It's their wealth. Because somebody is wealthy, you cannot demand, oh, you should forgive your loan. That is a misunderstanding. It's their haqq. So if somebody's rich, and let's say if somebody's a millionaire, and you see that they have a $20 accidentally fell from their pocket, and there's somebody who's poor and they have $20 fell from their pocket, is it a difference to keep the money? It's their money. So if you take it away, you stole it from the wealthy or from the poor. Probably from the poor, your conscience will be a bit more guilty. Oh, this poor guy needs that 20. But if the guy is a millionaire, you somehow deal with your conscience. This guy is not going to even notice the $20. He tips the guy in the valley, the valet parking 100. What it has to do with us? Communism is a different theory, right? Forcefully take away the people's wealth and distribute. We're not communists. In Islam, everybody, rich have their own responsibility, their own duties. So that is the second one, that the du'as will not be answered. If you give a loan to somebody, you don't have witnesses, you don't write it down, and then that person denies and to return your loan, Allah said, I will not answer your dua. I give you the ways to protect your wealth and you did it. The last and the third one, and I finish with that their du'as will not be answered. So said another salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Is that a person who had money, who had wealth, but because of israf, because of wasting the resources, wasting their money, they become poor and faqir. And when they make dua, Ya Allah, give me wealth, give me rizq halal, or extend my rizq and provision, Allah says, I gave it to you and I give you direction, don't do israf. Inna al-mubadhirin kanu ikhwana shayateen. I told you that those who waste their resources of a God, they are brothers of shaitan. I told you even in charity, have the middle path, i'tidal, moderation. Don't do too much of infaq that you become needy yourself. Don't be too stingy in order to avoid helping people. Balance, moderation. So Allah said, I gave you the direction to have moderation and you didn't, and now you are in this position because of your own action, so your du'as will not be answered. So this is the hadith. Why is that? Because in all the three cases, there are four categories. This is the third one. The fourth one is about marriage. Let's say if somebody have a bad marriage and the person, for no reason, no consultation helps, nothing helps, and the only solution is divorce. Because 1 in a million, 1 in a very rare chances, sometimes divorce is the only solution. So if this person doesn't want to live with you, whatever is the reason, and they make sure if you don't agree to divorce, they will make the life a hell for you. Hadith Imam Sadiq said, if you don't do divorce and you make dua, Ya Allah, help me, save me from this, Allah will say, I gave you the solution. I give you the solution. Why you're making dua for me? By the way, that's the last resort. When, as I said, you tried everything to fix, to help, to solve the issue, and it didn't work. And once again, a marriage, both sides has to agree to live with each other. If one doesn't, for whatever reason, please don't extend this to emotional fights and arguments and dispute that people over period of time they get emotional, they get angry. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about long-lasting dysfunctional relationship that it doesn't work. You tried counseling, you tried mediation, you tried everything, and it doesn't work. In that case, Allah said, أَبْغَضُ الْحَلَالِ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ الطَّلَاقِ. The most disliked halal before God is divorce. But it still is halal because there are some rare situations that is the only solution. That's the only solution. And that dua of that person will not be answered either. Because if they, for someone, wants to force somebody to live with them, they don't want to live with you. Sometimes you can change, you can modify, you can compromise. You have to, by the way. Marriage is not, a clothes that you change easily. I don't like the way it looks anymore. I don't like the way it feels. Don't go with the excuses. I'm talking about problems that they are fundamental. From the core, you cannot live with each other. At our time that we live in, that's not the issue. I don't think anybody make dua for the marriage to continue. Unfortunately, a lot of people go to divorce before doing all the precedent and all the necessary step that you have to take before divorce. Our time, I don't think this one, at least for our community, is not very applicable. People rush to marriage, rush to divorce as well. And for some reason, the other three, I think, are more relevant, more practical to our community needs. That ultimately our understanding of rizq is very important. Allah is a provider, but we are the one who have to go acquire the rizq that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala meant for us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq to make du'as and prayers that they are being mustajab and answered by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And may Allah inshallah give us the tawfiq to acquire rizq halal, to don't be an enemy or a block for somebody else's rizq. To be a mean of other people's rizq, but don't be an enemy or somebody who, God forbid, prevents somebody's rizq. May Allah give us that tawfiq, inshallah. Yes.
In the eye of Islam, when there is a contract, is collateral agreeable in Islam, in the eye of Islam?
What do you mean by collateral?
When a lender is giving the money,
Right.
asking for a collateral.
I know, but no, not really. Not really. Is it kind of charging them extra? That's what? Oh, collateral. You can? Yes. Yes. So if you're asking for, what we cannot ask is that if I give you a loan and I expect you to give me something extra, I cannot ask. That's the interest. We can't. But when it comes to tazmeen or collateral or making sure that you will return my loan, you can. Yes, it's permissible. It is permissible. Let's say, let me have, for example, some valuables as a, make sure that you return it and I will return your valuables to you, some gold or something like that, or it could be property or something like that. Yes, you can. Or even a check. You can ask for it. It's not required, but you can. It's fine. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless the soul of all of our marhumeen, especially marhum Syed Kashif Ali Shah. And on this month of the Hijjah, especially today, which was the anniversary of the marriage of Hazrat Fatima Zahra and Imam Ali alayhi salam. To send, inshallah, a thawab and a reward from our program, from our gathering, from the maw'idha and the advice and the speech, and also from the Quran recitation and jama'at namaz, because he is the reason that, alhamdulillah, this majlis came together. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala dedicate, inshallah, a loaf of blessing and rahmah to his soul, and once again honor his family with health and well-being, as well as sabr and patience at this difficult time, inshallah. Once again, remember, next Friday, it will be the 40th Chehelum of this marhum. Family of the marhum invited everyone. We will send email. It will start at 7 p.m. again on Friday. And it will Quran recitation, Jama'ah namaz, and the rest of the program. I will be leaving this week, so I sincerely ask for your forgiveness and your halaliyat. If it's something that some people assume that, it's a tradition, it's a cliche thing that we say, please forgive me. But if it's something that you have a haq, right? You have a haq, you know that somebody owes you something. Sometimes you have to go to them and tell them. You cannot blame them for not knowing. So if there is a haq that I, in any way, if it's financially, if it's spiritually, if it's emotionally, in any way that you know that I owe you anything, please let me know. Because otherwise I will not know. I ask Allah to forgive me. And inshallah, I'll remember all the mu'mineen, those who I know by name, those who I know your face, I try to recall your face. But I will say all the mu'mineen from our communities. I will say that, and Allah knows who are they. I'll remember you, inshallah. And I'll be back for Eid al-Ghadir celebration, inshallah. It will be also the family camp. So I'll be here for the family camp as well. Just make sure, participate on our Friday night program. Next Friday we have the Majlis of Chehelum of Marhoom Syed Ali Shah. And the Friday after that, we also have Majlis again. But our Friday Juma prayers will not be in session for the next 2 weeks. And it will resume in the third week, inshallah. Also, if you want to sponsor for Qurbani, for sacrifice on the day of Eid, we send the money to a charity organization. We were doing it in the last year, a few years, and we do it this year. Please talk to us, talk to Brother Haji Zia Amili or Brother Syed or me, any of us, or Dr. Ghulam Raza or any of the mu'mineen here. We will make sure your money will be sent for the day of Eid to do the Qurbani on your behalf. The cost of it, you can share it together. A couple of people can come together and sponsor, or if you want to sponsor a sheep yourself, I think the minimum we said was 200, 150 to 200. Yeah, so depending of your money, they purchase a sheep, and whatever is extra, they give it to Sadaqah charity as well. So if you want to make sure, inshallah, do it this week, because next week it will be, the weekend will be Eid al-Adha or Eid al-Qurban. Yes, you can. Yes, inshallah. With saying that, inshallah, we continue the program with the salam and ziyarah, and we finish our majlis, inshallah, with that. Once again, thanks everyone for coming to the majlis, to Marhoom Syed Ali Shah's majlis. May Allah, inshallah, bless his soul. Bless everybody. Stand up. We finish with ziyarah. وعجل اللهم في فرج مولانا صاحب العصر والزمان. السلام عليك يا رسول الله يا نبي الله يا خير خلق الله. السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين. السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين ويا إمام المتقين علي بن أبي طالب. السلام عليكم أيها الحسن والحسين سبطي نبي الرحمة وسيدي شباب أهل الجنة. السلام عليك علي بن الحسين زين العابدين. السلام على محمد بن علي الباقر. السلام على جعفر بن محمد الصادق. السلام على موسى بن جعفر الكاظم. السلام على علي بن موسى الرضا المرتضى. السلام على محمد بن علي التقي الجواد. السلام على علي بن محمد الهادي النقي. السلام على حسن بن علي العسكري الزكي. السلام عليك يا صاحب الزمان يا خليفة الرحمن يا إمام الإنس والجان. عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله تعالى مخرجك وظهورك. السلام عليكم يا أهل بيت النبوة ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر. صدق الله العلي العظيم. ولأرواح المؤمنين والمؤمنات ولشفاء مرضانا رحم الله لمن قرأ الفاتحة مع الصلوات.